Everyone. I am Kay McClenny. I am a proud Achieving the Dream coach. I am a founding partner of Achieving the Dream, and I am director of the Center for Community College Student Engagement at the University of Texas at Austin. This dream session is the venue for the national official release of a new special report from Achieving the Dream. It is entitled, as you can see perhaps in a moment, Aspirations to Achievement, Men of Color and Community Colleges. The Center's particular focus on work with men of color was born, as many of you know, in a series of discussions at this conference over 4 years, as all of us tried to learn how to talk about the issues, how to understand the issues, and you have spurred us on then to further explore what it is we can learn from listening systematically to students about what it is that gets in their way and what it is that helps them succeed. And in particular, listening to Black males and Latinos in community colleges from Achieving the Dream institutions and others around the country. The purpose, of course, is to increase success and college completion for all students, but also, finally, to find ways to achieve equity in those outcomes across racial and ethnic groups within our community college. So we thank all of you for being with us on that journey. We also say special thanks, and I need the slides up, please, to the Kresge Foundation, which has funded this work. And Kresge is represented at this meeting by at least 3 people, including our program officer, Caroline Altman-Smith, who is senior program officer at Kresge, Chera Reed, who is a program officer there as well, and William Moses, who is the managing director of education for the Kresge Foundation. Please thank them with me. Okay, I am now wondering why and when we might have a power. There we go. Okay, we need to have this up on. Do you have this, the student speak on your screen? Because I can't see it. Okay, all right. So this is what I would like to tell you. Through the Kresge-funded project, the center has conducted extensive quantitative data analysis of student engagement survey data. And we have also conducted well over 30 focus groups with Latinos, Black males, and white males for comparison purposes in community colleges in Michigan, Texas, and California. We also conducted in the fall an institute for teams from colleges around the country coming together to look at their own data and to understand their achievement gaps and to come to concrete action plans about what to do about those gaps. And then one of the products of the project is this report, which you will receive or can pick up on your way out of this session, out of those exits. They will be on tables at the back of the room. Among the people who have been on this journey with us, both alongside us and on their own, are my colleagues on this dais, and they are, from my immediate left, Joy Gates Black, who is Vice Chancellor for Student Success at Tarrant County College. Lee Hampton, who is Director of Multicultural Relations at Jackson Community College and came here from paternity leave following the birth of his 9th child earlier this week. And William Serrata, who, though wonderful, has no such tale to tell, and is president of El Paso Community College, and I'm delighted to have them with me. The center's report begins by sharing once again data that describe an alarming reality in community colleges and more broadly in higher education. And that is the reality of persistent and intolerable achievement gaps that separate low-income people and people of color, and particularly men of color, from others in our student population. There are many scholars and practitioners, including many of you, who have struggled to both understand and act on these issues, we are trying. We are all still trying. Part of our work, as I said, was focus group work, and we produced, as is our custom, a video that summarizes, pulls out the themes from what we heard from Black males and Latinos who are students in community colleges that are either yours or colleges like yours. And we're going to show you that video now to get us started. There are two things I'd like for you to know. First, that the video quite intentionally reflects the major themes of what we heard across those numerous focus groups. You'll notice too that these students, given that they're human beings, don't agree about everything. But you'll notice that they do agree about a handful of very important things that we need to hear. Also, I should tell you that by the center's standards, this video is long. It is 20 minutes long, which is about twice as long as we think is good. But we previewed it with several groups, and we couldn't get anyone to tell us what to cut. And so maybe you will when we're through, and perhaps you won't. But we're going to listen to the video, and then I'm going to turn to my colleagues and ask for their responses about what they hear with their hearts and with their heads, and what they think from their perspectives as practitioners and leaders are the important next steps for us. And I will conclude with a few reflections about what we've learned from a multi-year effort at the center. And so with that, let's listen.
I'm a dreamer, so I've always had big dreams and big goals in life.
There's some beauty out there that I need to discover.
And I've always wanted to become a sports agent, and you have to go to law school for that. So,
ever since I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor.
I came out of drug rehab, and that's how I saw some other addicts in there going to school.
College never was like an option. It was like you have to do it, because I'm the youngest and everybody else in my family went to college.
My dad didn't finish high school, my mom, my grandparents, and they wanted to see a change. So I'm a white sheep in a black sheep family, basically.
And that's what's got me on the boat, on the college boat. It's because of my children, and me knowing that I can take care of them in the future, because they're still young.
I was a dishwasher. I really don't want to do this for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Colleges was something that was in my head, like I need to get out of here.
I was like, I'm gonna change everything. It's not gonna be the same as high school. I'm gonna succeed. I'm not gonna fail.
Education wasn't as important to me in my community as it should have been. Systematically, education haven't been for people of color.
When I graduated from middle school, the principal was like, half of you guys will graduate from high school, half of you guys will not even make it.
The options aren't there in the inner city, in the urban communities. It's you're either an athlete or you hustling.
I kind of got myself into sports. I think that was the gateway for me to not get in trouble.
I never was at school. I was, but then every time I went, I got suspended.
I had all AP classes and I had everything, I was on that track to go, the college prep track is. So, like I said, sometimes, I know I let them down. I let myself down mainly.
When I did the work, I did it correctly and I did it complete. I always had good grades, but I was always just ditching, you know what I mean? So the ditching was my downfall.
I don't think the teachers, in my opinion, had any expectations. You went to school, you got enough. If you passed, you passed. If you didn't, you didn't. They didn't care either way. I mean, that's how I felt it.
I actually did very good in my English exams and the ACTs in high school. I was the lead top of the class, and the professor told me, oh, well, you're the exception.
Like, for me, a lot of teachers who didn't know me, they just thought, like, this, based on my appearance, he's not going to be nothing, but I always kept 3.5 or above in high school. I took high school very serious.
I think they expected me to be more successful because I wasn't really of the more color of a Mexican.
And I struggled a great deal because I thought, well, you're not going to get anything, so you're just going to have to work a lot harder, which seemed to be the theme throughout my life, is you have to work harder than the white guy does just to get close.
A lot of times, you know, you hear from people that never go to college, why are you going to college? And they start making fun of you, or you see this guy who is your same age working and he's getting good money. And I think just change the environment because there's a lot out there more for you.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You might lose some people, but they ain't your people if they're trying to keep you back. Don't let no one tell you that you can't do something because you here.
You know, you grow up and you can even become aware of the own statistics that you face, that you should technically fall into, and you know, then it becomes a game to beat your own expectations, which I think is really, really important at that point.
And he told me, he said, so the odds are against you. He said, you're gonna fail. He said, you're gonna fail because that's what statistics say. But then he told me, he said, but statistics are just statistics. He said, you have to break that, so you have to break that. And still to this day, that stuck with me. And I'm glad that, you know, now I broke that.
But getting here, stepping on the campus, knowing that I'm in class, I'm fresh, I'm about to start, felt great.
While I'm still stressing my past and I'm still thinking I'm the bad guy, you know, a lot of them were like, Ray, your past doesn't mean anything. We don't care about your past. You know, it's just, we see you for who you are today.
I was sort of confident when I first came here. I was thinking I'm going to college, you know. This is, my mama, my daddy, ain't nobody been to college and stuff. I'm gonna be the first one that came here.
I got here and I was prepared, you know, I was ready to like fend for myself, but I didn't even have to.
I was scared of administration because my experience with administrations at that time was always I was getting pulled in because I did something.
I kind of didn't really know what to expect. It was really like, you know, I'm out of my usual surroundings. I was like, oh, you know, what do I do? Where am I gonna go? Who am I gonna talk to?
They think that you need to know what you want to do. It's like the first time you go to Starbucks, you don't know what to do, this and that, and they just like, give me your money and next. I mean, that's why I'm here. I just need some orientation.
When I first came here, I was very hard-headed. Orientation, I didn't listen to it. I thought, oh, it'd be a piece of cake. And I found out that I was so wrong on that. That's what made me mess up on a lot of classes, not taking advantage of the opportunity that they had.
I did the placement. I went to the placement center and took the test, and then I came out and I was like, I'm dead.
I got overwhelmed sometimes with a full load, not knowing, have been out of school for so long.
There's a lot of homework, a lot of research work, a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be.
It's a remedial math class, so I mean, you're there for a reason because you need that help. If no one's there to help you with that, then how are you supposed to pass?
And so I took math, English, psychology, and I think I took on too much at one time.
Black men that don't have any guidance, then they just go all around and they kind of lost. But black men who have guidance, they have people there that just hold on to them so tight.
You know how Latinos are. You got to reach out to them. You got to touch them, right? or somebody's got a friend that's in a friend that knows a friend. So I made my community in the writing center. Bunch of great kids, you know, and so I'm like the old man there, right?
I had set my goals really low, and after meeting Felipe, he believed in me, and he allowed me to be able to see that I could do more.
You know, they was very helpful in advising me to get into some groups, you know, and stuff like that. So after I got to getting into groups, talking to other people.
You know, I get a lot of help through going through programs here at this facility, you know, and I wish I wish I'd have realized it a long time ago. I don't tell you how many years, a long time ago.
Personally, I think the TRIO program is like that support. Like, say for instance, you run the marathon and you almost there, but you ain't there yet, and you need some water, and you know somebody's over there like, here, you know, they give you that extra boost to. I don't think I can make it without the TRIO program, flat out.
When I came in, I had several teachers that would tell me, at the beginning, the first day in their class, you're starting out with an A. Don't lose your A. And that stuck with me. And even when I got in classes where the teacher didn't tell us that, my mind was stuck. I'm starting with an A, and I'm finna fight to keep this A.
My counselor and my English instructor always motivated me and always expect more of me, so I like that.
She had high expectations in me, and it was like she walked me through this class like, you can do it.
You're not only expected to finish, like you're supposed to finish. And having that perspective is like, now you're carrying a weight of responsibility. Now it's not like, I'm not just doing it for myself, but I'm representing my family, I'm representing my college, I'm representing my community.
She's engaging and she entices you to participate. And it's through participation and interaction, you retain information more.
I think it's really teachers who ask questions and give you materials that are thought-provoking, you know, and that's what really wraps me in.
We went to the art museum downtown, and then we went to the Manil last Saturday. Cool, reading and looking at pictures is fun too, but getting out is better.
They offer internships. I did 2 internships, and one was 1 day a week, and I go out there the whole day and be an actual mechanic and working on diesel trucks and stuff like that to reinforce the skills that they taught me inside the classroom, and that was real helpful.
I know I'm a very lazy person, so so I just, every time I went to the library, I used to go there to sleep, but once I saw my friends there, they studying, so I used to study with them, and I used to pass my test because of that.
And what makes it more fun and engaging is, I think, is when they devise group projects, and you want to learn with them. You want to, get to talk to them, get to learn together more, and advance together.
What I expect in the class is a helpful teacher, a teacher that's just going in there to lecture, like, all right, open your book up to this page, whatever. A teacher that goes in there and shares their experiences, that's interested in the students.
Like if the instructor is open and communicative and opens up the classroom and like lets the nerves settle, because I know a lot of people come like they're nervous, they don't like to be seen in a public area or say the wrong thing out loud.
One of the teachers, when I got a bad grade in his class, he said, look, if you tell your teacher that you're having some problems, they have to help you. And I took that and I ran with it. So anytime I need help, I let the teacher know immediately and I get help.
My math teacher, like, he automatically sent an email, I'm really worried because you missed the whole week, what is going on, tell me. And when I came back, he was telling me, I really care for you, and that's why I'm kind of tough on you, because you are a very good student.
put it this way, the ones that understand the concept of I have to put this in real life for these people to get it, those are the teachers that are more successful. Those are the teachers that will be spoken about when you have little groups like this, because they're the ones that stick.
You can't escape that subtle feeling that society has on a whole that Hispanics are not your prospective students, you know?
I received some interest from Ivy Leagues and I wanted to go. And they said, yeah, they'll accept you, especially because you're a minority. That's like I'm like, is that the only reason why I can get into an Ivy League because it's predominantly white school and I'm a minority? It's not because of, I have good grades or I'm smart.
I only had one African-American teacher. And one of the things he talked about was how he got his PhD from Princeton University. And I was kind of taken back by his accomplishments. What he did was kind of put it to perspective that you shouldn't be limiting yourself based on your preconceived notions of what the world is like.
A lot of my instructors are unfamiliar as far as I'd like to see something familiar. I'm talking about another Latino. I don't see that. I'm not represented.
I mean, you're talking about my freshman year, I guess, in college, before I even met another Hispanic that was in academia, and there was a time where he had pulled me aside and said, you remind me a lot of me coming up, and he was like, you can do this.
But, sometimes it can be inspiration, to see a black professional that has a PhD and stuff like that, because we need positive people in our life,
I feel as if I had a Hispanic instructor, I would look at him more as a role model.
And she would relate to you because you're black, and she's black too. And she's, she didn't grow up having money either.
Well, Mrs. Carmen, she's white, and she love all her students, and she want to see you. She want to see you make it. I ain't gonna lie. She would push herself so hard just to see you make it. And I respect her for that. It ain't about color. It's about the teacher.
I think it is good for people's psyche on one side to see somebody of your race be successful. I get that part, but to me that's kind of like a segregation mentality, and I thought people were trying to come out of that. And in my eyes, I'm a man first, and then I'm black after that. Everybody's the same. We all got hearts, lungs, everything like that. So it shouldn't matter the color somebody is if they teaching you something or how successful they are. To me, that's like us moving backwards.
I agree with him because the color of your skin should not determine if you're gonna learn something from them or not. But if, say, I'm in the back of the class struggling and my instructor is white, that's when skin color comes into effect. You want to have somebody you can relate to, somebody who understands the struggle you've been through.
See, there's the problem right there. Everybody has a pre-notion that every white person grows up with a silver spoon. It's broke white people. It's broke every race.
I understand, but what if you know that white person
What if you meet a black teacher that was like Uncle Phil off Fresh Prince, just rich?
Then you wouldn't relate to him.
But I'm saying, why does it have to be about race then?
Have somebody you can relate to.
So don't say skin color. Just say relate to.
It is not easy to recruit and retain men of color. It is not easy work.
For African American males, for Latino males, having an understanding of their history, their background, what they're dealing with.
And so we recognize that if you just let students sort of float around in that area of not really knowing if they can and not really knowing if they what they want to do, if they can do it, then what will happen is they float around for a little while and then they leave. But if you find a way to anchor them and to help them in those early stages, then you can keep them and retain them.
I think it's time to start that conversation. How do we fund those programs that we know work and we know that are sorely needed?
I think at some point, no matter what, it's got to get down to the classroom level, because the most beautiful program in the world is going to fall apart if the student isn't passing the classes. They're not going to stay here.
It's very challenging to ask a student to become something they rarely see.
I think we've done an excellent job at diversifying our student population, but we have a long ways to go in regards to our employees.
In particular, we need to empower everybody. In particular, I think we need to empower our staff.
One of the questions we're asking on the survey is, of employees, do you feel comfortable discussing issues of diversity and inclusion? Because if we don't feel comfortable in whatever environments that we're in having these conversations, how are we going to be able to do it with students?
The biggest voice on campus are the students. If they start to speak, you need to start to listen to the students, okay?
Show up and work hard. Believe in yourself that you can do this. You can accomplish whatever obstacles may be placed in front of you. There's always a solution to the problem that you're facing.
The challenge might be our background, how we were brought up, how, education-wise, but it's nothing that we can't do.
One of my sayings that I learned a long time ago is you can't allow circumstances to make decisions for you.
Pride holds us back a lot because we don't want to reach out for help. But now I'm starting to see a different trend. Brothers will reach out for some help to move forward in school and stuff like that.
In my first semester, I had 3 A's and a B. And I said, I can do it.
Before, I used to think I was a number, and I was just another number. Now, in college, I'm a voice. I walk the hallways like I'm a celebrity, pretty much.
Before, it was just go to college and just get a job. But now you can be the president of the United States. So, opportunities are unlimited now.
We're not just another statistic or a stereotype. It's just the fact that we're proving them wrong. We're here and we're here to stay.
We got to figure out why people keep falling in the river. You don't just keep jumping in and saving that one individual. You run upstream and you figure out why are they falling in.
They're pretty great. That video was produced by our colleague at the center, Arlena Arnsparger, and it is in a pocket in the back of the report that you will pick up on your way out at the end of this session. And now I turn to my colleagues. Lee Hampton, star of stage, screen, and television. You were in that video, and I want to ask each of you, what did you hear, whether with your head or with your heart? What sticks with you from what you've just seen and heard? Lee?
Well, first and foremost, it showed that all students can be successful. Everybody can be successful, no matter what background you come from, no matter what hand life may have dealt you. All students can be successful, but some students need more support because of the infrastructure of support is not there. And when that support is substantial, success can be made broad scale.
Okay, thank you. And Will?
First and foremost, thank you and your colleagues for producing such a wonderful video and for bringing this to the forefront of the work that we're doing at Achieving the Dream. Expectations is what resonated, and those are the students that are in our systems. There's so many that don't even get to our systems, but expectations is the biggest piece, and I've yet to see a student rise to low expectations. They're asking for it, they're demanding it. Angel said it. They need high expectations, and then they need the support to reach those expectations.
Okay, and Joy?
Oh my, I feel like we really need to reflect. It was a powerful video, but probably among the most important things that I heard is the important role that faculty play in helping our students to achieve their goals, engaging them early on, understanding what engagement means to a student. What does that mean? And having common language. I think one of the most important things we also heard is that students have varying perspectives of certain things. And you saw that in that video exchange where the students were kind of torn and disagreeing a bit about certain terms and understandings. And I think that's okay. I think it's an opportunity for us to continue to have those kinds of dialogues.
All right, so let's just acknowledge that this is not the first report ever written about this issue. And that there are others out there. There haven't been many. There are a small handful that have focused on the community college and our students and our challenges and our issues. But what is there that we need to take from this and seriously take on, not just another report, but the what comes after the report? And Lee, I'm going to start with you again.
First of all, to echo his sentiments, I want to congratulate you, the Kresge Foundation, your husband, just a wide variety, Arlene, Emmett, all the work, Evelyn, you guys have done, Carol, with this work. I've done research, like you said, for the last decade. We've been all over the nation, and the work that you guys have done is far and away, I found, to be the most impactful. So congratulations with this project. And to answer the question, in all the research that we've done at our institution, as well as researching a wide variety of those who are doing similar work, I found what I call the 3 C's. When institutions are successful at closing the achievement gaps, producing equitable outcomes, I found what I call the 3 C's. What I always look for whenever I see an institution or a project or an initiative, I look for the 3 C's, and it's, first of all, care. Do the institution care that there are such glaring, inequitable, any data pool you choose to pull, do they care that there are inequities? Do they really care? Are they concerned more about just access, just getting the students there, but do they really care that these outcomes are so widespread? Secondly, are they committed? Are they committed, meaning are they willing to commit the resources to disaggregate the data, really look at it, to make sure they implement proven strategies, research best practices? Is there a commitment from the top, or do they just have a faculty member or an individual that may be from a certain ethnicity or have a certain desire, do a little something on a certain day of the month or day of the year? Or is there real commitment as far as resources, as far as building departments or whatever is needed to close those gaps? And the third one is creativity. Are they innovative? Are they willing to go outside the box? Are the faculty willing to listen to different teaching styles and methods, proven research? Is the institution willing to be creative, go outside the box to change how they do things, maybe offer an orientation, maybe have supplemental instruction or what have you? So I look for the 3 C's. Do they care? Are they committed? And are they creative?
Okay, thank you. Joy, I'm going to put out to you a quote from your chancellor, Irma Johnson-Hadley, who was and is a member of the National Advisory Committee for this project. One of the things that she said when we interviewed her was, we as community colleges do a great job serving the students who need us the least. You've heard that.
Oh, yes.
You've heard that. What's your reaction to that statement in this context?
Well, and I have to agree. We do a very good job, and we do that because we approach education for the most part with our old model. We approach it expecting all of our students to come in from the same vantage point, having had the same prior levels of experience and knowledge. And that's not who our students are. That's not who our students are. You know, when we look at data on our students, all of our students come in very high in terms of their belief in their abilities. And so what do we do to help them to reach those goals? That's what we have to do differently. I agree completely about the 3 C's. What that means is we have to have candid, courageous conversations across our institutions. And as Achieving the Dream Colleges, that's not new for us. We've been doing that. This really takes it to another level. And I would invite everyone to begin to look at that. How do we go forward to have those courageous conversations that really move toward systemic change? Not anecdotal change, but systemic change.
Big, important point. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will.
You know, part of what we need to do is again, we've built a culture of evidence based on data, and we need to look at the data within our own respective institutions and go beyond the superficial levels of the data. You know, at El Paso, we're 57-43, which is actually better than the norm. I've seen it as worse as 62-38 with regards to female and male. But we need to look at the wonderful initiatives that we've implemented and look at the data at those particular initiatives. Look at it down to the course level. And even, as I said, those are the students that get to us. So we've done a wonderful job. We have 7 early college high schools, and they're outstanding. And yet I look at the data, and I bring this to shed light on it. 70% of our early college high school students are ladies, are young ladies. So even at that particular form, absolutely.
Yes.
But are we? It is a bell curve. The early college high school is supposed to serve a bell curve of students, and therefore I would imagine that there's just as many young men under that bell curve as young women. So should we have that data similar? Our dual credit programs, similar numbers of 70% females, and we're heavy Latino population. So you're saying 70% primarily Latinas that are in the dual credit and the early college high school programs. So we have to go down even further, down to the, I firmly believe, to the elementary school level to set the expectation at that point that you will go to college. It's an expectation that all children would go on to college, including the young boys that are in our schools.
You all have done a terrific job of already going toward what I wanted to ask you next, which is within your own commitments. You've talked about care and commitment and creativity. You've talked about candid, courageous conversations as 3 C's and systemic rather than anecdotal or boutique solutions. And you're talking about reaching out and reaching down. So in terms of your own commitments, what's the next thing? What's the next important, even if very hard step within your own institutions and perhaps for your colleagues here as well? Lee?
One of the key things is when you find something that works or something that's proven a best practice somewhere or a strategy that a particular institution implements and they find results from that, one of the key things is to produce broad-scale engagement. Many times we have programs or initiatives serving males of color, Latino, or African American or Native American males, but the scope of it is not very broad, and the buy-in in regards to support across campus is not very broad. And what you have is some of the even better students of that particular cohort or the non-traditional ones where life has really gave them a punch in the gut. They're now coming back and they're willing to take advantage of these resources, but the greater percentage of the particular cohort of students, the traditional age 18 to 19-year-old, the ones we really want to reach, those are the ones that's walking right by the initiative, walking right by the program or what have you, and those are the ones that's hard to get to. So I always say, if an institution can find something that works and institutionalize it, meaning that it's not a person that's over the program that's producing input or getting students to come to it, but it's the registrar, it's the advisors, and they make it a part. Just like you register for classes, they direct you right to that resource. They make sure that you're there and not just a person on the side. They got this great program, but it's not broad scale. It's about 30 students or 40 students of 500, but they actually make it a critical part of the institution, not an office, but say, as soon as you come to this college, this thing's worked, we're gonna make sure that you get over there. So this person is not spending 80% of their time trying to get a student to come and be a part of something that we know works, but everyone is pushing students there so they can just put their virtue into making it robust.
I think you really believe in that. Okay, Joy.
You know, we have a number of interventions and strategies going on at Tarrant County College, and one of them really is looking at what's working and how do you bring it to scale and replicate it in effective ways, not unlike what he's referring to, and TRIO programs especially come under that heading. For us, it's really about looking at the culture of our institution. How do we change the culture of our institution? That's another courageous conversation. And as we look at our data, especially at Tarrant, and we recognize that the student groups that are least successful at our institution are our African American and Hispanic male students. That's reality, that's coming to it. But the next thing you need to do is you need to look at why they're unsuccessful. Begin to peel back the onion and look closer at the data. For the next steps for us is we're going to begin to look at why those things are happening. Look at those pre-enrollment variables. Look at those post-enrollment variables. We have established 2 years ago a Men of Color mentoring program, and the retention rate of students who are participating in that program is higher than the institution's rate. So what we're wanting to do is to look at what's going on in that program and find out how we provide the professional development for everyone so that those get replicated. We're not going to create small, special focus programs. We can't afford to do that as an institution. But what we can do is replicate the best practices that are taking place.
Okay, so you're reminding me of a colleague of ours in a pre-conference workshop the other day where some of you were, who said, if you have one dead fish in a lake, you look at the fish. If every fish in the lake is dead, you look at the lake. Okay, thank you. And Will?
I go back to Angel and what he said, and I think it's very important. And students speak, are we listening? So let's go back to our keynote from Valencia, Angel, who did a wonderful job. I think that they need to feel acceptance on our particular campuses, literally accepted into the college when they apply for admissions, encouraging them to apply for admissions, setting the expectation that they apply to go to college, again, going back down all the way in through K through 12 pipeline. They need to feel the engagement with regards to faculty. By far, your data, and I quote it all the time, if students are engaged with your institution, they will be successful. In particular, faculty-student engagement is the most powerful. We have to empower those students that we expect them to succeed. In here, you have a quote, one horrible quote, one outstanding quote. The horrible quote says, and it was on the video, half of you aren't even going to graduate. Well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy if we're telling them as leaders that half of our young men aren't going to graduate. Shame on us. But the other quote is, I expect you to succeed. I know that you can succeed, Angel. I know that you'll do so. Empower them, and then we have to be advocates for them. And advocates, if we have the services that we know will benefit them, then we have to advocate and we have to force them. Students don't do optional. So they have to go through that program. And finally, you heard pride in the video, and it is both cultures. African American and Latino cultures are very proud. Part of what we have to do, and we've tried to do at South Texas and El Paso, is change the semantics. We don't like to ask for help, but we sure are good consumers. You paid for these services with your tuition and fees, whether you're on financial aid or not. Now use the services that you paid for.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you. As indicated, I will offer now some brief reflections on what it is we've learned through this journey and what it will be that we continue to learn in our work with you. In a recent article, Janella Butler, who is the provost at Spelman College, describes diversity in higher education as a wicked problem. And she turns to the Wikipedia definition of a wicked problem. By that definition, wicked does not mean evil. It means that it's a problem that resists resolution. Moreover, because of complex interdependencies, says Wikipedia, the effort to solve one aspect of a wicked problem may reveal or create other wicked problems. Defining a wicked problem is in itself a wicked problem. And every wicked problem can be considered to be the symptom of another problem. And so I tell you that just to say that after all of this work, the center staff really agrees with this. The center committed to listen systematically and well to Black men and Latinos in community colleges. Their voices for us confirm several truths, and I'm going to reiterate what some of those things are. Some of these things will be obvious to many of you, some not so obvious. Some you will like, some you may not like so well. Some may make you uncomfortable or even unhappy. But it is what we learn from the students. So here's first. Discussions with Black, male, and Latino students about their educational experiences reveal common elements. But the cultures, experiences, assets, and challenges that these two student groups bring are different, and they deserve to be honored and recognized as different. Within each group, whatever group we were talking with, there's a wide range of experiences in every single group, whether Latino or Black male or white male. We heard from students who said that they had experienced high expectations in high school and from their families, who had experienced low expectations or no expectations at all, or who had experienced high expectations but didn't live up to them. We heard from students in every group who had who took side trips through the military or through struggles with low-paying jobs or through drug addiction or the criminal justice system or side trips into college athletics. And we also met students who came directly from high school. We met all kinds of students who said that race matters in their college experience, and we also heard from students who said that race matters not at all. So most observe that diversity on campus, as you heard them say, and this included the white males, diversity on campus is both critically important and woefully inadequate. Often, in the work, and this is the third theme, you must know that it was actually harder for our analysts to identify differences between the groups than to identify commonalities. And it is also important as we identify those commonalities to know that what we heard from the black males and the Latinos and the white males were some themes that I'll reiterate in a moment, but they are themes that we have heard from community college students of all descriptions, every race, every ethnicity, both genders, and all income levels in over 200 focus groups over the last 10 years. These are the students that community colleges serve. And so all of those things being true, then we come to what it is the students say are the things that are important to them. You heard these in the video. I'll be very quick. Personal connections matter. Intentional interaction with faculty, with staff, with someone who believes in me. High expectations matter. These students need to know both that we hold high expectations for them and that faculty and staff believe that they are capable of achieving to those high expectations. Instructor qualities matter. What qualities? You heard this too. Genuine passion for the subject matter, authentic commitment to interacting with students, helping students learn. Love for learning accompanied by love for learners. Engagement matters. We were happy to learn this. They talk a lot about active learning, about applied learning, about collaborative learning, approaches that link learning to work and life, involvement with groups of peers in the learning process. And as I said, they talked about campus diversity and cultural competence. Really, having more people on our campuses that look like these men is important. Sixth, in a reflection of 7, an inescapable point here is that the level of academic preparedness for college is a powerful determinant of the academic fates of these individuals, of their post-secondary attainment and progress. Thus, even though, listen to this is something, black males are, according to our data, the most engaged students on our campuses, they also have the lowest outcomes. And what that means is that because they start so far behind the starting gate, that they can have higher aspirations and run harder and work harder and still, without the kinds of supports my colleagues are talking about, not be able to catch up. It is our job to figure that out. Emphatically stated, the issue is not that these students are not capable of learning those academic skills, is that for a variety of reasons, their educational experience has not afforded them the appropriate opportunities to maximize those capabilities. The 7th and nearly final reflection is that in the end, there remains the necessary and unequivocal recognition that in this society, race matters. There are experiences we've heard of stereotype threat and active stereotyping of racism, both unintentional and intentional, and of judgments made solely on physical appearance that affect the lives and the educational experiences of these men in ways that are just starkly different from those of other student groups. We come here convinced that no community college will ever fully address achievement gaps across racial and ethnic groups without first coming to the shared understanding that disparate outcomes result from systemic disparities in privilege and advantage that characterize the lives and the educational experiences of these students prior to their entry into our college and during it. The disparities persist and continuing impact in our communities and our colleges despite the efforts of many people of all colors who, with good intentions, are trying to do good work. It is that reality that lies as one of the challenging next steps beyond our willingness to disaggregate the data and recognize the gaps. So having learned or restated all of these things, the center reports no easy answers. Sorry about that, folks. There are promising strategies underway, and the report has examples that shine through with some of those strategies. But the reality is for all of us that right now in our colleges, even achieving the dream colleges, the magnitude of our solutions is simply too small to address the scope of the inequities that we seek to address. And so I conclude. I wish, in closing here, I want to honor the concerns of more of a few of our colleagues in the room, colleagues who are passionate and thoughtful advocates of equity who were more than a little concerned about coming to a meeting in Florida at a time when there is reason to worry about whether young black men in Florida will ever see real equity or true freedom. And so in honor of them and in honor of all of you, I know many of you know well the work of Langston Hughes, the great African-American poet, author, and composer who died in 1967, and he left us with an unfortunately timeless poem entitled, "Let America Be America Again." Because our time is short, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I am going to share an excerpt from it. Let America be America again. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. For all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung and all the hopes we've hoped and all the flags we've hung. Oh, let America be America again, that land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free. So our colleagues did come to Florida, and they came to stand with you in saying, let America be America again. They came to stand with Angel and say, let America be America again. Where better in Florida for me to stand and for my colleagues to stand and say, let America be America again. Where better than at Dream for all of us to stand and say, let America be America again.
Powerful.
You are amazing. You hear me?
I hear you, but you too.